Hello, this is Gene. Please excuse my Scrabble-looking face. I mean, it's one of those days that I look my age, and I'm 53. Sometimes I actually looked a lot younger, but mm. um, anyway, yesterday I tweeted that I was going to talk about Trump and some of the mistakes I think he's making right now. And years ago, I put a video out there back when I actually was a supporter of President Obama. I was a Democrat back then, and I said that I thought the party had lost his way, and I put this thing out there. And of course, I know he never saw it, but everything I talked about back then, and I'll put it down below, maybe if you guys want to look at it, that was why I thought the Democrats were going to lose the White House. And I was right. This is before Trump even was announced. So it is what it is, and I feel like I have to do this now. Recently, some of the decisions he's made, some of the appearances he's made in the press, some of his tweets have concerned me. I've tried to allow him to have this affinity with Israel and the Jewish people, clearly because his daughter, the one I think that he loves the most, that respects the most, is now a Jewish person, and he has grandkids which will be raised as Jewish people, or in the faith, I guess. And I want to say that he's not being handled by them. But some of the policies and some of the things he's done the last couple days, personally, I don't have an issue with us leaving Syria. The idea that Israel cannot defend themselves if something came from Syria that wanted to go into Israel, or if that emboldens Iran, it's nonsense to say that Israel cannot defend themselves, because we give them so much money and our technology to do that. And obviously, if anything actually happened, we would be there in 2 seconds to defend them. So let me go through this, okay? As you know, I'm a Trump supporter. At first, I thought he was a joke, and I've said that many, many times. Then I really researched him, because there was no way I could vote for Clinton. She's just been a liar and a corrupt person for her entire life, and I could never have done that for her or voted for her. So I had to did my due diligence and look into Trump and see what he offered. And I liked his message. As a populist or nationalist, which I consider myself, and somebody who, I'm further than that. I believe more things. I'm aware of why the West was what it is, and I want to defend that. So people might call me alt-right, they might call me a white nationalist. I don't think either one of those are really describes me correctly. I'm like any other people from any other country that wants to preserve their culture. That's it. Everywhere else it's accepted. Here it's not, for some reason. So I voted for him, and the first 6 months I think he did a really good job. But from day one, he's been, and this is the problem I have, because I do feel bad for him, because as much as Obama had issues with the press, mostly from the right side of the press, his has been both sides, and he's somebody that needs approval. His personality traits is what worried people of voting for them from the left, because we thought because he's kind of thin that he might do something that might get us into war. He does have that, but it's more of he needs approval to saying that what he's doing is a good thing. And when he continually gets railed from the media, when he continually knows in his mind that he's done some good things, that it wears on him. And he still, as much as he combats with the media, he wants their approval in some areas. I mean, when he talks about people on Fox News saying stuff about him that are positive, he has to tweet about it all the time. So that's, I'm not going to say it's a character fault in him. I think it's like any other man out there, to be honest. This is how we are. We need approval. Normally in the house, it's from the wife saying you're doing a good, taking care of me, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, taking care of the grounds, all that type of stuff. And then when she gives that approval to him, that allows him to feel better about himself. Now, all men doesn't necessarily need this, but it's something that we kind of are born on because our society looks at us, regardless of what's happening, having 70,000 genders and all this other stuff that's going on, and how gynocentric society is, and how much the feminists' ideologies are permeating this society. Men are still looking at as the gatekeepers of the society, and the responsibility is always on them. It's not on women, it's on men. So regardless of what's going on, saying that, oh, no, women are empowered, that even the empowered women will look for men to lead and do what they have to do. It's just how it is. Now, Carlos, now you continually feminize men, it's going to become an issue, and then it's going to be worse for the genders. But anyway, we all know this. It's common sense. So I feel bad about it, but I can't allow him to continually doing what he's doing without not talking about it. I've been waiting for my friends on Facebook to say, are you still satisfied with Trump? Because they did this for like the 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and I was always fine with him. But his waffling on the wall, this idea that he sat there and he had Schumer and Pelosi in there with him, and he got the Prentice in there, and of course they weren't aware that was going to happen, and he destroyed them, and he said, I'll take it, I'll shut it down. But now we're hearing things that are coming out of the administration saying that he's going to go ahead and not shut down the government, that he's hoping to get a 1.5 billion, but that's not going to happen. So Schumer and Pelosi has won this, and it basically said that that fighter that we had, the one that we voted for, that said he was going to take down the Washington establishment, he's becoming like them. And if he can't be the leader that we need to move us along, because let's be 100% honest, he won the presidency by winning about 4 or 5 states in very small margins. About 100,000 people voted for him in those states that allowed him to win. And you take out California, and other than that, the rest of the world, the rest of the states, was very close between him and Hillary. As much as you want to say that this country is conservative in some way, it isn't. It is 50-50 or more side on that side, and from demographic changes, it'll continually go that way. And Trump was supposed to come here and stop that from happening by using the PoliPubblic, when you're a president, you say this, and fighting for immigration reform, to put that wall up, to do E-Verify, that type of stuff, and do something against corporations who are hiring these people. He hasn't really done anything. He continually talks about all these prototypes for the wall, and we have all that stuff taken care of. Now, I know that we've paid for this shit for the last 20 years for a wall or a fence, and somehow that money is not being used for that. But there's no invocation, I can't say the word, going on there, looking at where's that money at? Nobody wants to talk about that. Somebody's obviously got money in their pocket. And then the continually supporting Israel with giving them $5 billion a year for the next 10 years, because why? If they're so this is what I hear from Jewish people, and that the Agoyim, like I am, I'm just jealous by their ability with money, and they're just smarter than me because they're, averagely, not all Jewish people, but clearly a small sect of Jewish people have high IQs, so I'm upset about that. But whether or not that they dominate everything in the media, and they dominate proportionately in any other places that deals with money, in the Senate, in House, staffs in the United States, in the White House, I'm supposed to let that go, and it's clear why they get this funding. These people that continually do this, that have Jewish ethnic backgrounds, clearly has one country above the other. I mean, a lot of these guys have two dual citizenship, but when the world comes down to it, they're going to go back with what they think is their people. They're not going to support the United States. So I don't want to call them traitors for doing this, but they clearly are saying that I'm willing to give Israel all this money, but I'm not going to fund the war or the wall. So now I have to deal with that because both sides of the aisle love Israel. So it's kind of hard to stop from that happening. But recently what's come out is saying that we're going to give over $1 billion or what, $10.6 billion to the southern areas from us, Mexico and south of there, for their enrichment, I guess. But we're not going to have a wall taken care of. This is not what he campaigned on. He talked about taking all the foreign aid back and using it for our people to do what we need to do here. And I keep thinking this is 4D chess from him. But I think, I'm not going to say he's broke, but I think he's on that road. I think that he can't continually, every day, he gets on Twitter and saying it's a witch hunt. And I agree with him. I think this is all a witch hunt. But it doesn't help his cause anymore. As much as I want to be a fighter, I want him to fight for the American people and stop worrying about Mueller. They can't do anything to him. Regardless, even if it was collusion, which clearly it wasn't, this was, well, we already know what's going on here. But this is maybe another video, but clearly this was an op from the other side. And it's so clear to see when everybody knows that the Democrats funded this research against Trump, just in case if he became president, then they had this to come back at him to take away his power, because they all knew that if he was in, they really thought that they were going to the gallows. They really did. I mean, there were a lot of witnesses that said that when this was going on that night, that they all thought they were going to be, strung up. But nothing happened to these people. And the only people who are getting in trouble are people that were either directly or indirectly on the Trump administration or part of the turnover team and stuff. And I get it. He's probably sitting there saying, man, I've got nobody here that I can trust. So he has to only talk to his family. And his family is, I think they've been bought out as well. I think that they're part of the problem. Ivanka is a feminist. She believes in the stupid shit about the pay cap and all that stuff. And again, this is another thing that probably isn't going to change anything, but that it also seeps into other areas. She wants to empower women from around the world. Her father was elected because he took his back, or turned his back to globalism, and said we got to worry about our people here. And for a while he was doing it, but he's now become a paper lion, and it needs to be called out. And I'm going to send it to him. The chances of him getting a zero, but I'm going to put it and send it to his Twitter feed and ask from a supporter saying, I want him to get his ass out of the fucking sand and realize what he has to do. And if he has to go down with the fight and they impeach him for doing stuff, if he says, fuck it, I'm going to have the military build that wall because you won't support it, because I'm the commander-in-chief and I don't give a shit if the Ninth Circuit says that you're going to do something, go down and start building that damn wall. And we're gonna continually say this is what immigration is going to be, because that is my role as the executive leader, the president. I'm going to continually put it out there, and if these fucking asshole judges continually put it down, then I'm going to push that against the Supreme Court, and then they reaffirm my role as the executor to do this stuff. He needs to push for a moratorium on immigration. He needs to push to get that wall done, because there is no way he can be reelected. We're going to get some of the stupidest person in the world to be president next time. I mean, the Democrats have nobody anyway, but there's a possibility. If somehow the Democrats are so stupid that they nominate Biden, then I think that even against Biden, he'll beat him. But just about anybody else, unless Clinton runs, I don't think she'll get elected either. Why? You have somebody that's in his 70s who clearly don't understand when a man sat there like Biden said that he's okay that this country is no longer to be European. He says this in open forum, and nobody gets on his ass about it. It's like, what will it take for people to actually wake up, having their daughters being slaughtered in the streets, what happens in Europe, and then the parents still are like, oh, they're still, well, it's not really their fault. They come from other cultures. And I mean, as great as our culture is, and the heritage of our culture, and the pride, and genius that we have this Achilles heel. That we feel that we are guilty of what happened to these other cultures because we discovered them when they were behind in the jungles and had no anything, and we discovered these areas, and then we decided to, oh well, we could stay here, and we took our culture here, as every other culture has done, but we're in trouble for it because we made it great in a lot of ways. So. And I could talk about this forever, and I'm not going to say that. I think he's. I never would have thought that he's been bought. I think that he's almost like controlled opposition now. He really had 2 or 3 jobs to do, and he did the right things to get. I think the tax thing was important, and opening up the stuff for the corporations, and we've benefited from it. People are going back to work. People are buying houses. People are buying cars. Our economy is doing well, and that's one of the reasons why I voted for him from that point and the other part that he was talking about immigration. But we have done nothing about this. And this morning he talked about, everybody's talking about the wall, and I'm like, no, you're talking about the wall. You told them when you were talking to them that you're going to shut down the government in order to get the $5 billion just to start the fucking wall. And it looks like you're backing off of that. Dude, I'm losing my respect for you, dude. I really am. Well, that's what I have to say. Please let me know in the comments below. Tell me, maybe I'm missing something here, but I think that most people who are looking at this, people who voted for him, especially people that have the idea about the West being the best, and the fact that he is not really protecting that value system. I don't know what his thing is. I really do not believe that he's running because he thinks that something's going to come out and he's trying to make himself look better. I mean, we could talk about prison reform. I have an issue with that. We have more issues. It depends. I have to each individual case. We should be explored, I guess. I just put people back out in society who are not really reformed. I don't know what to do about that. Obviously, people on the left like him for that, for about 5 seconds, and then they'll move on. And you get the idea that he's okay with this because he's been told ever since become the president he's now racist now, that he never was looked at that way in the black community until he ran for president. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good weekend, and if I don't talk or have another video up before Christmas, have a good Christmas. But I think I'll probably talk about something before that, and probably something for the new year. Hopefully he'll wake up himself. I just think that maybe he's at that tipping point that he just can't deal with the criticism anymore. So now he's going to do stuff. He's just going to be like I said, a paper lion right now. Okay, you guys talk. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.